Today I'm in South Korea to find out if really South Koreans are richer than they think. There was an article that ran in Korean Times claiming that most people in South Korea are actually richer than they think, more than Americans, but they don't think they're rich. So I'm here to find out. The perception of wealth among South Koreans compared to their actual economic status is an intriguing topic in South Korea. Several factors contribute to this perception, including the cultural attitudes, economic metrics, and societal trends. But when you look at the GDP and income levels of South Korea has a high GDP per capita actually compared to other countries, placing it among the wealthier countries globally. And as of 2023, South Korea's nominal GDP per capita was about $34,000. This positions South Korea in the upper echelons of global income distributions like the United States. As a matter of fact, many South Koreans think that they're actually poor and not rich like other countries. There's this kind of comparison that goes along with the American stereotype that you want to be like an American, and that's how they compare themselves. But forgetting the fact that even in the United States, they are kind of poor people than it is in South Korea. The high cost of living is another issue, especially in major cities like Seoul. This makes residents feel less wealthy in other parts of the country. Like things like the housing prices in particular have soared, leading many to feel financially pressured despite having high incomes. 2.9% out of 3,000 adults of the Koreans identify themselves as the upper class, according to the Korean Development Institute survey. Could it be that the Americanization and the Orientalism that has stemmed way back from years is making South Koreans think that actually they are poor and yet they are richer than they think? When you get to dig deep in this, you get to find that this has led to many South Koreans not feel happy about themselves. Their lives would only be about working hard and always trying to find a better life, of which better life they'll never find.
When you kiss me, I'm under your spell. Will you miss me? Only time will tell. I can't think of anything but you. That is what you do.
Actually, when you ask ChatGPT whether South Koreans are actually happy people, the answer would definitely be no. But then if a society works so hard for people to make their ends meet and then they don't get to feel happy, and happiness comes from contentment, but then someone spends a lot of money buying this nice car, living in the same area like in this area next to Han River, in the most expensive apartments in the country, and then still they are very stressed. But then how much more are South Koreans going to work for them to feel happy and for them to feel out there, for them to have this high self-esteem, to feel that yes, exactly, I am okay with what I make? I talked to some locals here and I asked them a question exactly. Do you feel happy as a Korean? How much rich do you want to be rich? The answer got is, I want to be rich. Many South Koreans are burdened with mortgages, student loans, and credit card debts, which is actually pushing them to the edge of thinking that actually they are not as rich as they are. South Korea is a culture country, and so there's a cultural tendency toward modesty and understatement in South Korea. And publicly displaying wealth is often discouraged, which might lead to an underestimation of actual financial status. Everybody dreams of being around this place. Everybody want to come and live around here. Everybody wants to live in these kind of apartments that are actually rich. But does that add something onto your life? On the other hand, the real estate market is a significant factor in South Korea. Almost every South Korean wants to buy an apartment. And the location matters because most of them actually, they will look at Han River to own houses there. But the properties around Han River are actually exorbitantly high. So while property ownership can be a major source of wealth in South Korea, it makes many feel financially insecure. So where the young people have actually given up thinking that or I cannot actually afford that apartment. And so that has led to also the low birth rate, people thinking that the economy is too high for them to stand.
In my perception, I think that if a society feels like they are actually not rich as they are, that gets to leave out the people at the bottom. Because these are the ones who are actually poor. When the white collar earners feel like they are left out and they are not actually as rich as they are, then it makes the other people at the bottom feel so low, and then that creates more stress. From the apartments you see back here, that's everybody's dream. No matter where you live in South Korea, everybody wants to live near Han River. This is their place. This is what they want because of the miracle of the Han River. Now, when you talk about the difference between the rich and the poor, over there is Hanamdong, and this side, this is Gangnam, one of the capital. The president of South Korea lives this side, where the super rich live. And then the rich of the richest live in Gangnam. Actually, this part of South Korea is where the very richest live, and then the semi-rich live on this side, and then right behind the camera is where the richest live.
There's this problem of the income inequality among the haves and the have-not, and there's been a growing gap between the rich and the poor in South Korea. That has also contributed to the perception of not being wealthy among some certain groups of people, especially among the middle class and the lower classes. As a foreigner in South Korea, I'd like to agree that indeed South Korea is a beautiful country. It has the beautiful people, it's a very peaceful country. You can walk any time of the night, nobody's gonna touch you. And the level of violence in South Korea is actually very low compared to other countries like the United States or other countries around the world. South Korea is a pali country, which means everything is swift. You order anything, you get it on time. And also when it comes to Medicare, South Korea as a nation has the best Medicare around the world, whereby you can have as many prescriptions in just a click of a hand from any doctor that you want to. Reputation is another important issue in South Korea, in that every public service provider would be concerned about their reputation when they try to help people in need or in any public office. Unlike in other countries where you go and somebody's so snobbish and feels nice of themselves. South Korea boasts in its food and culture. However, to some of the natives, they don't feel okay with the culture right now due to the Orientalism and Americanization, just like I mentioned before. So most of the young people prefer to emulate their American culture and the Western culture other than their culture. And for the old people, they're still conventional, so they feel like they want to respect their culture.
Actually, South Korea is a very beautiful place that you would just come anywhere, relax and think. The only problem would be the individualism, that people would be much into themselves, that you would not even have a chance to just, speak out. Everybody's silent. So there's this kind of like a stereotype that you get to find in this place, where there's this categorization of people based on color, but actually people are really lovely. You just get to a place to relax, and then it's a good place.
Actually, South Koreans endeavor to make everything beautiful. Just like Singapore, a country that was way poor a couple of years ago, South Korea is one of those countries. From automotive industry to Samsung to LG to Hyundai and all other companies, South Korea is an economically stable country. They produce what they use, and they're very welcoming to foreigners. Compared to Japan, according to some vlogs that I've come across where nobody's going to talk to you, in South Korea, you can walk onto somebody and you can ask them any question and they'll be willing to help you. But when it comes to the natives, they don't feel very happy and fine with their economic status. On my trips, I usually travel to share different cultures and connect with people aiming to foster integration among us. I believe color is just a pigment, but as humans, we are all one with a similar mission that is not different from one another. I believe in the philosophy of human survival, integration, and happiness. That's it for today. Until we meet again, have a wonderful time. Don't forget to subscribe.